Today, how are you living life? Are you living it the Indigo way? We find out with Andrew White with Indigo Life, and he explains how to live life right. Come on in. Can't wait to see you.
Welcome to the Dayton Approved Podcast with Frank O'Neill. This is where the local Dayton businesses get a spotlight.
All right, welcome to Dayton Approved, where we're exploring Dayton small businesses and nonprofits. We're here with Andrew White today with Indigo Life.
Here I am.
How's it going, Andrew?
It's going. I'm well. Thank you.
All right, well, that sounds great. Sounds like you're having a blast already, and I love it.
So much fun. I was like, let's just make this the most awkward interview ever.
All right, that's what I like to hear. He's changing the tone. He's making it the way he wants it, and it's all about Indigo Life. Exactly.
Right?
So this is how we do it. So yeah, I know that originally it was like Indigo Life Media when we started with the name, but now it's Indigo Life. So why don't you talk a little bit about how we got your name to Indigo Life?
Well, I'm kind of like in this Puff Daddy era, where you just like to change your name, you know. Since the 90s, you had Puff Daddy,
Right. I mean, he's a hot
P.
topic
Diddy,
right now.
Sean Combs. I feel like after so many years, you got to evolve. And so we are a media company. However, my wife and I came to this conclusion that we wanted to simplify the name. Instead of making it Indigo Life Media, we just wanted to call the company Indigo Life. So that way it's shorter, it's easier. People still call us Indigo Media Life, Life Media. I mean, you hear it all. You know how it is.
Yeah.
And I don't care. It's all words as long as you know what we do.
Right.
That's the biggest and most important part. So we just did it for marketing reasons to keep it a little more concise. And it's also just kind of a cool name that creates conversation.
Yeah.
So when people hear Indigo Life, they're like, okay, well, what does this mean? And
Yeah.
so that opens up a door for a whole nother conversation that's kind of fun. So,
Well, that's good. I mean, I think it's good to try and simplify it and just make it 2 words.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah.
Because I know what you mean. Because everyone likes to kind of make it their own. If there's 3 words, they always like to drop one of the words, and it's like, what is going on? That's kind of my name. It's not, but whatever. As long as you get to me, that's all that matters, right?
as long as you find me, we're all right.
So as far as mission statement stuff goes, I know that you wanted to create entertaining or entertainment content with lasting impressions is your main goal for everything. So why don't you talk about a little bit how you do that or what the thought process is on achieving doing that?
Totally. So so our mission is really to bring video production into the workspace, the nonprofit space, and create compelling video, and authentic video. And our big niche is entertainment content. We want to bring brands to life in an entertaining way because everything is so mundane and everyone follows a template. And I started to see that years ago in video. And so my wife and I really came with this vision and this mission to create entertainment content with this lasting impact where people could really see that brand come to life and what it's about rather than a talking head and the typical stuff you see. So there's a flood of content on the internet and we wanted to stand out. So entertainment content is our niche that we have followed. We continue to follow and we'll keep following because to me, this is the evolution of where we need to bring brands to life. And
you also said something about authentic video production, so I believe that ties all into exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, we have a documentary approach where we don't try to come in with the scripts when we write these shows and these concepts. We allow the brand to live and breathe what it really is, and we get to document that. So a lot of times when you create shows, there's writers and there's scripts to it. And it's different, and there's no right or wrong to it. I just know if we're building long-lasting impact, we have to build it in a very authentic way. And not only are we building it in an authentic way as a business, our culture is authentic. So everyone on that crew and on that set are very authentic human beings. So the experience is evolving even more because it's not just the product we're producing, it's the people who are producing the product.
Yeah,
the morale.
Yeah, no, I can tell you this firsthand. I have never felt a fake person on your crew or team.
Yeah.
They are themselves.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
Good, bad, ugly, at least it's real and it's honest.
Right.
So it's
yeah.
cool.
Yeah. So authenticity is really important. Humility is really important within our company, our values, because in the entertainment sphere, it's very easy to start boasting and building this kind of figure or this ego. And so humility allows us to be in our work and stay humble and stay in that growth mindset. Because I was that arrogant, you know what? I've been there.
Yeah.
I get it. And humility is what allowed me to grow as an entrepreneur, as a human, as a partner, you name it. So it's something we really instill in our company.
Yeah, no, it's good
Yeah.
because it's the only way you can grow is by having that. So
Right. Yeah.
it's one of those checks, those reality checks, I guess you could say.
Yeah, and we check each other. We're like, hey,
that's what it's about.
You know what? You're kind of going up here. I need you to bring it back down here, you know?
Exactly.
And you need that in your workspace.
You need that really everywhere in life.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
what it comes down to.
Yeah,
So,
100%.
And it's funny because we've talked about entrepreneurship, and it's like we're responsible
Right.
for checking ourselves.
Yeah.
Because in reality, I don't have to get up today.
Right.
I could just stay in bed.
Yeah.
I don't have a boss that's going to say, "Hey, you're fired."
Right.
We're our own bosses. So it's like we have to kind of create these check games or little fun mental games to keep us motivated and going.
Yep.
And motivating others below too has always been motivational for me. 'Cause it's like, okay, now that guy is relying on me. So
Right.
if I don't show up and I'm not there ready, then I'm really letting someone down. So
Right. Yep.
that has helped me, and it's what I've learned has helped me with management on being excited about management, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
we'll talk more about management later on.
It's a whole nother world.
Yes. But let's get back to your story. So, you got a really fascinating story. I didn't know you your whole life, but I know it
chunk.
starts at age 13. So let's start
Yeah.
there and just kind of see where it goes.
Yeah. So people like to joke that I've lived several lives. Just to the mere fact of I'm one of those people that I always go after what I want, and I don't let anything stop me. I believe in myself a lot more than what the average person would believe in themselves. So I put myself in a lot of situations that have rewarded me very well, and then I've also put myself in situations that did not reward me very well because of my ego and my arrogance,
Yeah.
and that's where, like I was sharing earlier, about the humility in life.
Right.
But
I always call that betting heavy on yourself.
yeah,
Because
I
it
bet.
really is a bet.
It is a bet. Yeah, exactly. I just hadn't had any money at that time to bet. I was just betting myself.
Yeah.
But yeah, so at the age of 12, I got sent to military school for 2 years. So junior high, I spent 7th and 8th grade at military academy. And in that phase of life, I became kind of the entertainer of the barracks. I would be playing music and we'd just kind of like party and hang out. Not really party at military school, but I would bring everybody together and play music, and we'd just kind of like jive. And I've always been big in music. I've always enjoyed hip hop, R&B music. My mother's a music head. So when I came home from military school at 14, 13 is when I had the vision I wanted to be a DJ. 14 is when I came home. And I looked at my mom and I said, hey, I want to be a DJ. I really think I got something. And so my mother is a single mom, also an entrepreneur, works in the real estate world. She's a real estate broker. So I was shown what entrepreneurship looks like, feels like. It's chaotic. Mom was always busy. However, mom had the ability to do what she wanted to do and provide for my family, for my brother and I.
Right.
So I wanted to follow in those footsteps. I thought if she could do it.
It was a good role model.
It was a great role model. And I thought, you know what, if my mother can do it, I can do this. This is my mom. She's going to guide me and help me out. And she did that. So at the age of 14, I started to develop a skill for DJing. So my mother invested in me, bought things for me, turntables, music speakers. And by the age of 16, I was already DJing almost every high school dance in Miami Valley. I was locking in contracts for pool parties during the summertime. And my friends were like, dude, you're 16 years old. Like, you're not even going to the dances. You're making money by the dances.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So the company was called Big Boy Entertainment.
Big Boy Entertainment.
I don't know why I came up with that. I wanted to be Bad Boy, but P. Diddy already had it.
That really brings in the full circle from this weekend. We
Our
were
frishes.
hanging out and
Yeah, when we were camping, we were
Big
talking
Boy.
about frishes. Yeah, I wasn't going to say anything. I was going to save it for this.
Oh, my God. That's
But
great.
I also was a big fan of frishes, the big boy platter. So I wanted to serve some good music to the world. So Big Boy Entertainment evolved. And by the age of 19, I had opened up a teen nightclub here in Dayton, where the old Captain Bogey's is. Where it was in Captain Bogey's on the top floor. So
Okay.
when I was 19, I presented this option to build a nightclub on top of this big arcade in Miami Valley.
Yeah.
And it was a success. We rode it all the way.
Now, what was the name of the nightclub?
The nightclub was called Club IG.
Club IG, all right.
And I know there's going to be a lot of people, if they listen to this and from Greene County specifically, they're going to be like, yo, I remember that.
Yeah.
But this is in 2003 that we had Club IG. And at that same time, I went out to Europe for some music work. I had maybe a possible record deal out there, talked with some promoters. And so my best friend and I, we went out there for vacation and to see what opportunities were there. And while I was there, I got the phone call that Wendy's was coming in and they were buying the lot where my nightclub was. So I had to come back home and I had to close that nightclub. So I had this like huge rise and then started to watch it kind of just fade.
Yeah.
At the age of 19.
Come and go quick, man.
I was living this high life, very well-known DJ in the community. I was in all the nightclubs.
Yeah.
Ran a nightclub. So by the age of 25, I really saw that I couldn't be a DJ the rest of my life, right?
Yeah.
I can't.
You came to that
I
realization.
can't build a family. It's going to be hard to have a relationship. You know, I never really dated ever because working in the entertainment industry is hard.
Yeah.
You know, but I did it because I love it. I love music. I love watching people dance, and I love to
Bringing people together.
I bring people
It started
together.
at a military school. You brought everyone together.
And I control the entire dance floor. I can control everything right there in the palm of my hands.
Yeah.
Like it's all me. And it gave me a lot of strength and power. I liked it. I thought it was cool. So long story short, I got out of the music industry at 25 and I started Indigo Life. And while I started Indigo Life, I worked in real estate with my mother to help funds. But I've never worked a job since I was 16. I tried to work at like the local grocery store. Terrible. I lasted like 2 months before I got in a fight with the GM and wanted to like box him. Right. I worked at the radio station for a little bit, but I travel a lot and they wouldn't let me travel. So I was like, well, if you're going to fire me, just fire me.
Yeah. I'm traveling. Fire me when I'm gone.
Fire me. So I started Indigo Life and started making videos in real estate. I started to make my own, what I called marketing music videos. And I started just bringing my love for music. I was producing songs about real estate, buy or sell. You can clip to it like right now. I'll send you some examples of what those were, but they were hilarious. They were stupid, and that's what built my real estate success.
Yeah.
And in that, I started to shoot a reality show in real estate called The REO Life, and this is where the whole video world opened up.
Yeah, I remember seeing, we watched some episodes. We had to find them on YouTube.
Yeah.
Because I think you said you don't even know if you got the raw data
Yeah,
anymore.
they're old, and I've always had
It was awesome.
They're crazy. They're like
good shows.
Flip This House, Hoarders, and Cops all combined into one to follow an REO agent kicking people out of houses that didn't pay their mortgage, and you have to roll up at the West Side, you know.
Yeah.
But I've always had a camera in my hand, and this real estate agent knew that I was a video nerd, and he was like, hey, you want to pick a camera back up? Shot that show, put it on YouTube, and within a year, I had an entertainment company in LA contact me.
Yeah.
And they took that show and wanted to pitch it to networks.
Yeah.
And so we went into 3 seasons with that show being pitched to networks. Unfortunately, we didn't make it to a network due to some things with the host and other things that happened, but it showed me the possibility of video and YouTube. An opportunity to get things seen. So I'm like, I'm from Fairborn, Ohio. You know what I mean? What people don't even know. What they need to know though is that there's only one Fairborn in the entire world.
That's true.
So,
There's only one.
And so I digress. But it really showed me this opportunity to utilize YouTube that just launched as a platform and video. And I thought, what if I put businesses on YouTube and started to build this virtual relationship with people? Because the whole reason people were booking me for DJing and real estate was because they saw videos of me, they watched highlight reels, whatever it was I could get in their hands. And that's what sparked Indigo Life to become a video company today. That was 18 years ago.
Yeah, 18. It's amazing how time flies.
I know. And if you're watching this, you're looking at me right now going, he looks like he's 24 years old. How did he do it? I know. I have a very good face cream regimen. I will put that in the description below. I have a great... I take my vitamins. I eat healthy. But it's so crazy thing. 18 years ago, man.
Yeah, that's
this
wild.
Entrepreneurship journey of being a media
So when
mogul.
you started Indigo Life Media, it was Indigo. I forget what you called it. It was Indigo
It
Productions.
was just Indigo Productions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you had it for about 7 or 8 years, and then it really kicked off when you found your significant other, when you got married.
Yeah.
So tell us about that. I know that you had a couple things go on there. One of the things, too, that I loved was you guys did a video blog, too. I remember that.
Oh, yeah.
And
That was fun.
Yeah, it was like and you learned, I remember you were telling me you learned it was consistency.
Yeah.
That was the consistency test for a year.
Yeah.
1 week, one a week,
Right.
a year. And that just really took your business off to another level.
100%. Yeah, I'm a vlogger. I love documenting. I've always loved documenting. So when my wife and I started dating, we met in the community. We were friends prior. And we were with a group of friends that had an organization called the Good Deeds Project that we used to run around with. And so we were always in the community doing random acts of kindness and documenting things. And so we fell in love. I mean, that was 11 years ago. And slowly I just saw more and more of her skills and who she was. And I was like, these are things that I do not have.
Yeah.
I'm not a CEO. I can run a business, but that's not my power suit. Like I've done enough to be dangerous, and so I kind of presented to her like, hey, what would it take to have you run this company with me? Like, what if we teamed up?
Yeah.
And she's like, hey, you got to really kick it up a gear because I got benefits here. I'm making a good wage. You worked in higher ed, corporate America, in that world. And so there was that consistency of paycheck, good paycheck. She was making great money. Single
But she's
woman.
giving up a lot.
She was giving up a lot to just jump into this random video world where Andrew was still getting his shit together.
Yeah.
And so
The Andrew then is not the Andrew today.
No, not at all. And so,
But high risk, high reward.
high risk, high reward that came along. So she said, if you can start, at least paying me a little bit a month, I can start slowly leaving this job and I can see. And I think she still has today that first check I ever wrote her for like $800. And I get it. Like if I'm going to jump out of it, I need to make sure, And so, she came on board about a year, not even a year after us dating and being together. I mean, she kind of jumped pretty fast. It was about a year maybe. But she came in and took, in her first year, tripled the company.
Yeah. Just took it over.
Took it over and just said, do you trust me? Like I see some areas we can really improve on. She's a systems person. I'm not. I was working off of, Post-it notes and an agenda that I may update every other month.
Yeah.
It wasn't workable. So I was like, yeah. So being an entrepreneur, managing a company and running a company, you have to learn to let go. And that was like one of the first opportunities I had to practice that. Yeah. That letting go. So Lauren runs the company. She's our CEO. We're a woman-owned business.
Yeah. So talk about how you're a woman-owned business.
So we are a woman-owned business. Lauren owns majority of the company, and we've really have the last 10 years followed her lead. Yeah. We follow each other's lead, but as I say, when I say we, that is myself, our editor, our crew. We really listen to what she brings to the table, and we follow it because she set us up for success this whole entire time. So it's like, why wouldn't we listen? But her and I work great together. We complement each other in the business world. We complement each other outside the business world. Yeah. And working with your spouse is different. I mean, that's a whole nother podcast.
They say, I mean, they say that is like one of the hardest things to do.
It's hard, and to be transparent on it. It's like you work so much in the business with each other that you forget. You got to work on the relationship. So it's like, we're going full circle now, and we're like, hey, we're really pouring into each other now more than we're pouring in business, and that happens. You just don't lose sight of it is one thing we've learned. But yeah, Lauren's a badass. I love you, babe. If you're listening to this, watching this, however you're tuning in, And she was, and still is a spokesmodel for you.
Yeah.
And all of your millions of views on your YouTube videos.
I believe we are getting there,
circulating.
multi-million.
Yeah.
I'm sure we are by now.
Yeah. And people email wanting to know if she's single.
Yeah, that's true.
That's when you say, no.
No, this podcast proves she's not.
No, that's right. I'm it. I may be only 5'4", but I'll hold my own.
All right. Well, that is actually like I said, your story is phenomenal, and how you got from where from 13 all the way to now is amazing. And I know you've got so many cool things that you're working on now, but let's talk about some of the things that you have gotten to. Some of the ways you've helped contribute to the local community. Basically, just some different businesses you worked with. Obviously, you worked with Dayton Discount Furniture. That's how we met.
Yeah.
And you've got a whole slew of other companies you've worked with. I know there's too many lists, but we can just list a couple name ones.
Yeah.
Or big ones.
Locally here, Wagner Subaru.
Yeah.
We've been supporting Wagner Subaru with consistent videos for I want to say almost 6-7 years now.
Mm-hmm.
And Midmark Corporation. Midmark leads a lot in the healthcare business. So if you go to your dentist, the chairs you're sitting in, the light that pulls down in front of you, the utensils, all that's made by a company called Midmark. We support their corp communication department with all of their videos, in-house and out-of-house. The Dayton Bar Association, where we've been working with their podcast and getting them out there. I mean, I just slew almost every business and nonprofit in the Miami Valley. We have supported in some fashion over the last 18 years.
Yeah,
so
exactly. You've been around them.
It's crazy. I mean, all the museums, most of the nonprofits. We've
Now, I know you
supported,
said something about the UD Center for Leadership, too.
Yeah. The University of Dayton Center for Leadership, an amazing organization that helps leaders. So if you're an entrepreneur or you're anyone in management listening to this or watching to this, highly recommend checking out University of Dayton Center for Leadership. Anybody can go to it. They have tons of cool courses, and it really sets you up if you're a CEO, if you're a new manager, how to delegate, how to work, all the things of leading companies or crews, staff, whatever. So we support them in all their video campaigns and video projects. So we are our big thing is consistency. You said it earlier. And that's the ticket with video marketing and building virtual relationships is you have to be consistent. You have to build a plan out. I always say video marketing is the same as dating. You have to court. You have to continue to put yourself out there, learn new things over and over and over again. That's what establishes it. The best example I can give for why we support these companies with consistent video is I always call it your favorite actor theory.
Okay.
This is why I explain to people why they need video. It's like we have a favorite actor, actress, favorite musician, right? We support them. We go to all their shows. We buy their albums. We buy their movies, their colognes, their clothes, whatever they come out with.
Yeah.
But majority of us, probably all of us, have never met them.
Yeah.
Right?
Don't even have a clue who they are.
We have no clue who they are. However,
we support the hell out of them.
We support the hell out of them. And the reason is because they have consistently showed up on the big screen in interviews, on talk shows. So they find different outlets to continuously show up and share who they are vulnerably. Yes. And that's what makes us fall in love with them. And that's exactly what we do at Indigo Life is we come in with this plan of action. And how can we establish that? We're not a one-hit wonder company. So a lot of companies will come to us and we'll do a couple of videos and then they're like, all right, thanks.
Yeah.
We really want the companies that say we're ready for the legacy. We're ready for the longevity of things. So we're here to support, but at the same time, we've turned a lot of people away just because they're not willing to jump into the
you got to
investment
jive
of
with
consistency.
You got to jive with what's going on, with the philosophies.
Yeah.
And, there's multiple ways to skin the cat, but if you're interested in this niche and this is how you like doing it, then you gotta stick with it.
I'm all about vibe and energy, and if you're not on our vibe or energy,
wavelength,
it's not worth it. It's not worth the money.
It's too much. It's too much. It's like this pull.
It's this tension.
Yeah, it's
friction. And, So my wife and I are very picky about who we work with because we want the results to be powerful too. And if everyone's pouring in the same wavelength, the results are going to be tremendous.
Right.
And we've seen that happen. We've seen it with clients who just drag their feet and we do all the work. They don't do anything. And then they're like, why didn't we get the results? well, you didn't do crap.
Right,
You didn't put any of your energy into it.
Yeah.
And sorry,
Yeah.
and then we see when everyone pours in, the results are just beautiful.
Yeah.
So you got to have that client base that pours in as much as you do. That's how you have the wins.
That makes sense.
And
yeah.
I think in business, a lot of times we grab things just to survive, and it almost paralyzes us in some areas because we're trying to keep up.
It does.
But I get it. When you're starting a company, starting a business, you take everything you can. We're very fortunate to not be there. But if there's any advice I have to listeners running a business, starting a business, I don't
know why I thought of this when you were saying that, but it reminded me of this old saying in business. It's like, when you're first getting to business, it's like you're sitting here and you're wearing a bib and you're just trying to consume everything, eat everything, meaning like, I'll take this job, I'll do this job, I'll do this, I'll do that. And at some point, when you're in business long enough, you realize you got to take the bib off and put on that apron and start helping and serving others.
Yeah.
And when you do that and you get to that point in business, it's amazing the explosion that happens.
Yeah.
And I don't know why I just thought of that when you were talking.
No, that's great though, because I think you hit a really powerful point that everyone needs to know when running a business is you have to be willing to serve too.
Yes.
You got to get involved. You got to get into your community and pour into them. You can't just sit back thinking everybody's
You can't just take from the community. You have to get back.
Yeah, it's a cycle.
It really is.
It's an energetic cycle, and that's one of my keys to success is just continue to serve.
That's why we're doing this show.
Yeah, no, I love
the
it.
big boys are taking from the community. They ain't giving back.
No.
It's the local businesses that are.
Oh, yeah. That's why we'll survive.
Exactly. That's why we will survive.
Survive.
Well, that brings us to the next bullet point, which is bullet point number 4. And that is what sets your business apart from other companies. And I know that you said it's really the entertainment content portion of what your company does. With the original shows like Decoding Dayton. Why don't you talk a little bit about that, or how important that entertainment content is with the original shows and stuff?
So what sets I mean, there's tons of video production companies all over the place, and a lot of them do the same things. A lot of corporate weddings, things of that nature. We don't do weddings. We do very limited corporation clients. Those that we do, their legacy, they've been around, and they've adopted our model of more of the docu-style approach. So with the entertainment side of it is we've led that on our own for the last several years. The last 10 years, we've been producing all of our own shows to show people what entertainment content looks like, to show them what that is. So Decoding Dayton was a big one that put us out there and kind of really put us on the map with original shows. And then Decoding Dayton turned into over 30 episodes, and we're sharing all the secrets of the city of Dayton. Yeah. It's a very old city, but all we keep hearing about is Wright brothers or, all these little things. We're missing so much of the story that adds. What are all these buildings we drive by? What is this, what's inside the Masonic Temple? What are all these things? And so that show, we took people inside to fall in love with the city. And through that, a lot of people saw that. So the Dayton Metro Parks, our park system came to us. They wanted us to come and decode them. So rather than doing boring marketing videos, we brought our original show to the Metro Parks and did a 7-part docu-series that took you from the beginning of the flood in 1913 to how that set us up to today with our park districts and how massive it is. And then they won a national award for decoding nature at a marketing symposium for Metro Parks across the country because of that. So that's what sets us apart is we come in and we want to create a web show, a docu-style approach to what your brand is about. So that you don't see that a lot.
No,
because it's harder, takes more work, takes way more pre-production, costs a lot more. So you got to find, well, where are we gonna, what I mean? Yeah, this guy's gonna pay me $4,000 for this video, but now you're talking about you want to sell me a show for $60,000, Yeah. But if you're building the long game, that's the approach.
Right. Do you want this? Do you want it to be real?
Right.
Or do you want it to be half-assed and then we have to add fake shit in it? Yeah. It really changes the whole narrative of the story.
Or we just do what everyone else is doing and you get to look like everybody else.
Yeah. Do you want to? Exactly.
I call it the flood. Noah's Ark's flood of content. It's happening right now. We see it. People are doing what everybody else is doing. And I want our clients to stand out. I want our clients, and it's shareable. When you see a video of someone just talking with B-roll over it, it's boring. And the whole thing about video marketing is getting the videos out there, getting your brand out there. So watching a show, it's shareable. You laugh, you cry, you want to share it. So it's all about the shares. It's all about how do we get your brand out there in front of more eyes.
Yeah.
So entertainment content is how we stand out. We've been doing this. We're getting larger at it now. We're becoming known for it, and I love it.
Yeah. No,
It's
I mean,
sweet.
I've always loved the approach, and I love the entertainment concept that you guys have always done, and it's always been we've sat down and said, all right, this is where we're going with this.
Right.
It may sound crazy.
Yeah.
It may be wild.
Yeah.
But this is real, and this is how we're bringing it into play.
and we invested in it. We invest in our original shows because we want to walk the walk, talk the talk. We want our clients to see what it is, right? You were one of the first people that saw it with us with Decoding Dayton, and you're like, hey.
Well, even before the network.
Well, yeah, the network. We had, Indigo Live TV, our own streaming platform. But it was when we were doing Decoding Dayton, and we're like, hey, why don't we bring sponsorships in? This will help pay for the show. And you were you were the first one who said, I'll jump in. Let's go.
Yeah.
Like, I love this. This is great.
Yeah, no, it's
the
really
eyes
is.
are on it. You got thousands of shares. Like, why not? So our model has now grown to where people are paying us to make their shows.
Yeah. And that's awesome because that transitions to exactly what we're talking about as far as, what are some recent successes and milestones you've had. And yeah, I mean, getting to that point and really coming to talk about tonight's conversation.
Yeah.
Which I know sounds like just a talking point, but in reality, that's the name of a show.
Right.
That really changed Indigo Life Media.
Yeah.
It's a milestone that they hit that really kind of made them explode.
Yeah.
And go into, like you said, made you do things that were uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And really learn. And that's how you know it's real. And that's cool. So we'll talk a little bit about tonight's conversation.
So tonight's conversation, it's a relationship debate podcast / talk show. We call it a podcast. They call it a podcast. But it's not on any podcast platforms, which is hilarious. But it is a roundabout discussion, debate, panel of 6 people. But I'm going to back it up because the story is really fascinating to how we got here with tonight's conversation. So the client approached us saying that he was going to make a card game, or he had made a card game during the pandemic. And he wanted to make ads to sell this card game. And the client was a poet. He's a poet, and he's been traveling, doing poetry. He's from Dayton. And he collected tons of questions that women had asked him as a man. Hey, in this relationship, blah, blah, blah. So he built this card game called Tonight's Conversation. Well, Tonight's Conversation card game, the ads that we made for it were just 2 people playing this game. And they went viral overnight. Dude was like booming overnight success. And what happened was all these people were commenting, hey, where can we watch these full episodes? This looks really interesting. This is crazy that they're saying this, asking these vulnerable questions. Well, they weren't. They were just ads.
Yeah, they weren't.
So
it wasn't
he
real.
literally came to us. He's like, hey, let's start recording these full episodes, and we'll put them on YouTube or something, and let's just see what happens. Well, that didn't last but a week, and then he came back to us and said, you know what? Actually, I just started a streaming platform with Vimeo. We're starting an app, and we're going to start filming these episodes. And I'm going to fly people in, and we're going to call it Tonight's Conversation. It's going to be a panel of 6. They're going to have therapists, comedians, you name it. We're going to have discussions, and we're going to really
it's
light it up.
real. Yeah.
And so that was about 2 years ago that we started filming this at the Dayton Art Institute. Then the Dayton Art Institute, we moved it to White House Event Center for some filming. Then from there, we built a studio in his basement. We did this Wayne's World style. Yeah. We built this 6 studio, recording studio. We still have today. We still use it. It's amazing. You wouldn't know it's in his basement, how sweet it looks. And so that show, we started filming. It became one of the most popular talk shows and clips on the internet. And they got millions of followers off the show. So out of that show in the last year and a half, people were then commenting, I want to see this in my town. How can you come to us? Because we got questions. We want to ask questions.
Yeah, we want to talk to the crew.
So tonight's conversation turned into like a 3-4 man crew in the studio, just shooting it, to like 8 to 10 person crew, now traveling the country with a sold out national 40 city tour.
Yeah.
With stops teamed up with Live Nation, and it's just been crazy the last year and a half with all these shows.
So how many people would go to a show?
So on average, I would say 2,500 to 3,500
That's
people
insane.
a show. Live audience,
Yeah.
and these audience members can submit questions. The producer will pick them, and they get to come up. Well, now, if you go on Instagram, TikTok, and you just type in tonight's conversation, you're going to see all these viral clips that get millions of hits.
Yeah.
So now everybody wants to be on the internet.
Right,
They want to come
right.
up and ask that crazy question. So it took us out of a lot of comfort zone from just regular film to now doing film and live production. So when we get in, we're traveling with massive jumbo screens. We're traveling with stage setups. We're traveling with speakers. We're traveling with, a 26-foot box truck or a semi, whichever one we have. That's uncomfortable as hell. And now I got to manage all these people. I have to manage all these people. I've got to make sure, the client, and we're on the road.
Yeah.
3 days, 4 days out of the week. We haven't seen each other
Yeah.
in almost 2 years
I know,
because
man.
I've been traveling the damn country.
I'm like, man, what's up? You're like, I don't know, man. I'm busy. Like, we'll figure it out.
I'm in Arkansas. I'm in Miami.
Yeah.
I'm in Toronto.
I don't even know where I am.
I don't even know where I am, actually. So I had, so tonight's conversation just took off, and it put us into now a bracket of live production and film. I was able to build a team that I could delegate. I have an assistant director that can be on the road, so I don't have to be there anymore. Everyone's trained.
That's great.
I have a director of photography, a DP who stays locked in, who runs all the camera department. He knows how to set them all up. He has his own AC, so I have 2 now managers managing departments, and also that work together so that tour can stay moving and I can still stay here, because me being on the road, leaving my wife to run a company that's ever growing was not good. We did it. And it was hard, but the most uncomfortable thing was to delegate, hire. And we're in Dayton, Ohio. We don't have a huge pool of talent.
Right.
Thankfully, we're in between Columbus and Cincinnati, so I can pull a lot in. And also, thankfully, this tour is national and it's well funded by the client, that I can fly other camera ops in from LA, from Kansas, and all over the place. So tonight's conversation is our baby, along with our client, because we were there on the ground floor to see his vision to life, and we're behind him still to this day, evolving that brand, making sure he has the best of the best, because we know how much it means to him, and we know how much we mean to him.
Right.
So this energy flow, he pours in the same amount we're pouring in.
Yeah.
And we both stay moving forward. No one's getting stagnant, and that's why it works. That's why he went from a 6-figure company to a 7-figure company like that by implementing video. And that's, his testimony to working with us. But it's the professionalism. It's the ethic that we bring. We live and breathe our shows. All of our crew, they immerse themselves in the culture. They're not just like showing up, getting a paycheck, and deucing out,
Right.
And I think that's another thing that separates us from our competition and other video production companies is the heart. The heart that we bring, the passion that we bring, as our crew does.
So that leads us right next to, like what are some struggles we're having, or some things that are not easy, I guess you could say, being a business owner or entrepreneur.
Yeah.
So really the challenges that you're facing right now. I know everyone is kind of has a little bit of an economic challenge with the economy, but beyond that, just management and stuff is what you were saying, and finding good help.
Yeah, for us, the biggest thing was our growth, finding that good help. Thankfully, we had people already on our team who had referrals to other people, but we're still trying to work through that right now, like trying to find more help. That there's people that are out there that are talented. However, what we find is like the pace that we move. Not everybody works at that pace, so it's a unique individuals we need that can really work the work we need right now, and not just come in and work one little project and that's all. It's like, hey, we need you for a lot of things. How does this work out? Can you make it? Like we were just talking about this getting off tour 2 weeks ago. We just finished almost 40 cities, and we watched a lot of people fall off on not just on our side, but the whole production of the tour.
Yeah, they just couldn't make it.
A lot of people just couldn't hang. It's a lot. So we need those certain personalities, which are rare, but they're out there.
Yeah.
So to us, I think any entrepreneur can say the biggest struggle is growth. When you start hitting that growth, you're needing help. You're needing good help, and to find that it takes patience.
It does.
So
it really does.
I would say the challenge was the patience.
But when it comes, and they come into your life, and it's interesting. They always come, and it's like, damn, why can't it just be that easy all the time?
Right.
You know, it's like,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
amazing.
I've got horror stories for people we try to hire, and it was just awful. Thankfully, I don't have a lot of them, so that's good.
Right.
But there's some ones I'm just like, geez.
Yeah. I remember we were coming back on a flight on Southwest, and there was an editor you had, and you were like, this guy just isn't doing it.
Oh, yeah, he got fired. Yeah.
I remember that.
Yep.
I remember that. So, but we've all been there.
Yeah.
We've all had that.
And you got to let go of dead weight.
You do.
Yeah.
And it's tough because when you get comfortable, we get comfortable too.
Yeah.
And we get comfortable with someone. You as an entrepreneur, you always think, oh my God, it's the end of the world. If I fire this guy, my life's going to be ruined, and I'm going to have to do all this stuff, and I'm never going to be able to replace this guy. And the truth is, it's 2 weeks later, you're like, why didn't I do it earlier?
Right.
This guy was dead weight.
Yeah.
This guy was just really screwing my energy up. This guy was really messing up the energy or the vision.
Yeah.
Like this guy really, or gal, whatever, you know.
It just takes one to mess it all up.
It's true. Screw up the whole ecosystem.
The whole
of what
ecosystem.
you got going.
Yeah. Yep.
It's wild.
Yeah.
So, yeah, let's talk about collaboration with other businesses here in Dayton and whatnot. I know you've been on tour a little bit, but you still, you had Decoding Dayton, and also one that you talked about was the Miracle Clubhouse.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that. I personally don't know a lot about what that is.
Yeah, so we're real big in the community. We used to do a lot in the community, but as you grow, you have to dial back and reserve yourself.
Yeah.
I was kind of a nonprofit whore for the first 5, 6, 7 years of Indigo. I solely helped nonprofits because those are the ones with the boots on the ground, and I got a lot of respect for that. But the one we really still cherish right now, there's a few out there, but one that I want to talk about that I feel really close with, Lauren and I, it's called Miracle Clubhouse. Miracle Clubhouse is a clubhouse all over the country. I do believe there's some outside the country too. That this one here is locally ran by Goodwill Easter Seals. And Miracle Clubhouse is for anyone that has an established mental condition. So, bipolar, ADHD, manic depressive, anything.
What about autism?
Autism, anything in the spectrums that you need support. This clubhouse you pay, I think it's like $1 or $2 a day, and you can go there and they feed you breakfast, lunch, dinner. They're open 365 days a year.
Oh wow!
So it's an amazing organization helping people with the mental stipulation, like what's to overcome, to have a family, to have people around them, because when you're dealing with mental health in general, you have a hard time building community.
Yeah.
Because you're so, I'm ADHD to the 50th power. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's hard because you get so wrapped up in your own self that you start self-sabotaging and these things. So Miracle Clubhouse is designed to support individuals, to give them a place to eat. They help you get a job, so many things. So we help support them with their mission by giving them videos and really getting into that brand and sharing them with the world. And so Miracle Clubhouse International has shared our stuff to use to help to get more funding for more Miracle Clubhouses. And so it's this really cool concept that people can go to and be loved on, help get a job, really get back on their feet when they're dealing with that mental health.
Yeah. No, it sounds like a good spot for people to kind of learn and grow community.
Yeah, you just have to have some type of mental health diagnosis, whatever it is.
Okay.
And it all walks of life. I mean, you can go in there and you'll see all walks, all ages, all colors.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
And
everyone invites you in with open arms, and it's really cool. We all deal with mental health, and I think that's a big thing that Lauren and I really want to get behind, and always, if we can get more organizations to support that.
It's real.
Our humanity could be a little more balanced. You know what I mean? We're all going to deal with things.
It's really all about communication. And I remember being told this and I've been told this over and over and over again. They keep saying, it's communication, lack of communication, communication, lack of communication. And I'm just sitting here, and when I hear that, I'm always thinking, okay, I'm going to be a better communicator. I'm going to be a better communicator. I can communicate better. And I do learn things to communicate. But then I realized it's almost impossible to really know what someone's going through in an emotional ordeal. Like, I can communicate my ass off.
Right.
But how do I actually really communicate my emotions? Do I really in every given situation?
Yeah.
So you don't really know what someone's going through.
Yeah.
Because it is a lack of communication, but it's almost impossible to bridge that gap.
Oh yeah. I mean,
but that's the mental health part.
Yeah. Some of these people, you walk in and you're like, what's wrong with them? They seem totally fine.
Well, I mean, look at the Robin Williams and think
we're
about all those people.
We're all dealing with crap.
Everyone is going through something.
We're all dealing with something.
I saw somewhere where it said Robin Williams would, every movie he did in his contract, he put down that a minimum of 5 homeless people they would have to employ for the filming.
Yeah.
Just to do basic whatever stuff,
janitorial
or whatever.
Yeah.
It was part of his contract.
Yeah.
I mean, how awesome was that foresight?
Right.
To have that you build that in.
Yeah.
You want me? Okay, cool.
I think some of them were actors too, like extras in his films too.
I'm sure they were. Yeah.
Yeah. But that's what it takes. It has to take
but that's
one
a guy
to see
that
the
really
other.
Thought.
Yeah.
Above
because he
and
knows
beyond.
he's been there, and I think that's. So yeah, we really try to put ourselves in the community with missions that resonate with us. We don't just spread ourselves too thin.
Yeah, of course, of course. Well, let's talk about some exciting stuff. You got some new projects coming on. So you showed me a little, I believe it's called, is it trailer, right?
Yeah, it was a concept trailer. Okay. Yeah.
And it is called Unstable Lumberjacks.
Yeah.
So tell everyone about this new project of Unstable Lumberjacks that you're getting involved with.
Yeah, so a local company, 3-in-1 Tree Service, reached out to us a couple years ago, and they, again, didn't want to do boring marketing. Stu, the owner and host, he said, I got to do something. I have to stand out. I want to do a show. I heard you guys are the ones to go to for this. What does this look like? And we said, this is what it looks like. We gave him a budget, and he said, I'll be back in a year or so. And here we are, 3 years later in the mix of it. We are now in filming of the show, Unstable Lumberjacks. It's really cool. I'll make sure you have the concept trailer to play.
Yes.
That's out there right now. But it's really interesting to see a tree service do so much in the community. Mm-hmm. And that was the element that really sold us. So they're a tree service that does residential, normal tree services, but they have 2 big cranes, and it's rare to have these certain cranes. So they also get booked for storm removal. So after big storms, they come in and pull these massive trees off houses and cars and stuff like that. Well, all the timber that they get, they bring it back to their mill. They mill it, and then they go into the community and also their own community. They have a rescue farm on one of their properties where they have tons of animals. And they build stables, they build fencing, housing, you name it, all with the timber that they bring back. So in this show specifically, we take you through the farm that they have with all their rescue animals and tell some of those stories. But the project for this first season is we teamed up with Our Farm Sanctuary out in Tip City. And we're going to go in there and take a whole bunch of this lumber and build them all new fences and really help build their rescue farm up. So this juxtaposition of they're getting lifted in the air hundreds of feet with this crane put on top of trees. I mean, it's pretty intense and brave to do and a little crazy, but the juxtaposition is really nice of this high-intensity tree service, with saws and aggressiveness, and then you have the soft approach of this rescue farm lifestyle and giving back to the community.
Right.
They're real active at their church.
It's a combination of both.
Yeah, it's really cool. So Unstable Lumberjacks will come out this fall. It'll be on YouTube. And we're just going to push it real hard. But that's a new project we're filming right now. That's a lot of fun. And I finished a paranormal show that's on Amazon Prime called Other Side. That people want to check that out. That's
Side, That's
another one that I just wrapped up. But we've got a lot of things in the works.
Yeah. Now talk a little bit about Other Side. That's kind of like your baby, your brain creation.
So I've written and produced about a little over a dozen of my own original series. Before I was with my wife, and then my wife and I did several original series ourselves. So we're all about getting that idea out into fruition. So Other Side has been something I've been wanting to do for like probably 10 years. It's not just a typical paranormal show. It's a pilot. It's 2 episodes. But what I did was I cast a stand-up comic, and then I casted a ghost hunter, and I put them together, and we videotape it. And it's wild. And I'm a believer, but after producing a paranormal show, I'm even more of a believer. I mean, things were flying off shelves. I heard it. I saw it. It's weird. It was crazy. But it's a different dynamic. It's funny and scary at the same time. And I think that's really cool because sometimes those ghost shows take you to a high emotion and just kind of leave you. And I thought how fun would be if I wrote something that took you to that scary emotion, but then there's this comic who breaks it. That breaks that feeling and makes you laugh a little bit, and then you come down and kind of ride this roller coaster. So Other Side's really cool. 2 episodes, Amazon Prime. You can rent it, watch it. Yeah. And I will plug this now to hold my accountability on the, what today is today's date? Is the 18th at 12, almost 12:12.
There you go, perfect timing.
Myself and a couple of writers years ago, we wrote a show. It's called The Nudes.
Yes.
N-E-W-D-S. It's the last name of a family.
Nudes. Yeah.
But this family also happens to be a nudist colony.
Yes.
Well, let's just say we're going to bring this to life.
It's coming.
It's coming. Yeah. Soon.
In the nude.
In the nude. Yeah. Next time I'm on the show, it's just going to be blur marks because I'm going to be
He's going to be promoting
the show.
it.
I'm going to be promoting the show. Yeah. I don't know if I'll be acting in that, but it's going to be a fun show. We have like 3 or 4 episodes written, and so we're just going to finalize a few more episodes, and then we're going to get that into production. That'll probably come in 2025.
Okay.
We'll get through this year with a couple shows because I go back on tour in September, so I don't want to throw too much on my plate. I want to enjoy my summer. You know?
Yeah, of course. You've been working hard for the last year and a half, 2 years. It's time to
take a little break,
camp out, get on the boat, and just relax.
That's it, man. We're gonna take Black Panther out.
That's right. That's right. Black Mamba.
Black Mamba. But yeah, I think that's just the beautiful thing about being a creative. One thing I didn't say earlier, I think is a really cool fact about myself is that I'm a high school dropout. I didn't go to college. So to see a vision and bring it to life, to me, has been really rewarding. And you probably can resonate with being ADHD and being told, like, good luck. Like, you're going to need medicine to control that or, whatever. And thank
You'll
God.
be lucky to do this.
You'll be lucky to do this. Yeah. And so I did get my diploma through homeschooling, but I didn't go to college or anything like that. And I hold that torch strongly because I know there's a lot of people out there who are in that same struggle bus of, like, for some reason they're just not fitting in somewhere. Yeah. And they want to further something, what they have an idea of. So I'm always that cheerleader to say, like, go get it.
Of course.
Like, and I don't want to be like, if I can do it, you can do it, because I don't believe that philosophy. Yeah. Because not everyone's built to be an entrepreneur.
I would 100% agree with that. It is a high stress lifestyle.
Yeah,
it never goes away.
It is.
There's always some stress.
Yeah.
And you've got to be able to handle it. And some people can't. They just can't handle stress.
Yeah. So as much as I love the Gary V's and all those people who promote entrepreneurship, being your own boss, to have done this for over 20 years, I don't think everyone's made out to this. But
no, not everyone's made.
I think everyone can still follow a dream.
True. And everyone can get there a different way. I remember I had a high school teacher, and he was saying, I just bought a yellow Lamborghini. This guy was like 60 years old. And we were like, how'd you do it? You're a teacher.
Right.
And he said, I did it by not excessively drinking and smoking cigarettes. He goes, I always just mind my own business. I saved all that money. And he goes, it took me till I was the age of 60, but I was able to get my dream car. Yeah. And, that's honorable. Yeah. That's a different approach. Yeah. That's a way to do it. Yeah. And that's cool.
Right.
So, some people, that's the route they need to go.
Right.
I think school teaches you that. Yeah. Me? No. First off, I'd want a Lamborghini. I'd probably want it like when I was 25.
Right. Right.
So that's number one. Number two, I don't even want a Lamborghini. I'm just saying, like, I don't care about that. You know, I care about other things. But it's just interesting how, you know, but that's how people view things. It's like, oh, that guy's an entrepreneur because he wants a Lamborghini. No, it's like, here's our vision. We really want humanity to be better.
Yeah.
We want, ultimately, I think we want people just to understand who we are.
Right.
Because
That's
we were so misunderstood.
Oh,
you know, when
yeah.
you said ADD, it's so true. I mean,
Yeah.
I still have people say, you know, I can't figure you out. Well, you don't, I love for you to be able to, but
Right,
I don't know if I don't know if you will be able to.
Right. And I don't know if you want to go down that hole. So.
Yes, because that is a rabbit hole, which is
is a
another
rabbit hole.
podcast, which I have, which we have yet to release. It's called Underground Rabbit Hole. But we will, that podcast involves us hanging out, and it's a late night. It's
Yeah.
a 9 o'clock at night
There we go.
podcast.
We're not
Yes.
in an actual hole. That's good.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, that wraps us up. Tell us how do we get a hold of you? How does someone say, hey, you know, I want to get a hold of Andrew. I want to talk to Indigo Life. Let's get this figured out. What do they do? What do you suggest?
Just check us out. Social media, Indigo Life Media.
What if they want to check out your shows? You know,
Go to
stuff
Indigo,
like that? Is it on there?
IndigoLifeMedia.com. You can go on there. We're in the process of revamping the website,
Okay.
so hopefully when this drops, we'll be
Yeah.
damn near close to that, if not already
Yep.
out. But you'll be able to watch all of our own original shows, things in that nature. But yeah, that's the best way. Find us online, IndigoLifeMedia.com. Find us on socials. Send us a message. I'm not going to give you my phone number, but that's it. You know.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
Now, I know that, you know, we always try to end the show on a positive note. So is
Yeah.
there any final words of wisdom that you'd like to say or anything that you'd like to send everyone off with to send the universe out in a good vibe?
During the pre-show, you asked me that, and I said, I can't give you one, but it'll hit me.
Yeah.
And I think the one that hit me is the one that I carry the most. And this is something I was always reminded of from my mother. I had it in my car. And that is the statement, who you are makes a difference.
Mm-hmm.
And just that statement, if you can hold that and hold that to be true for yourself, that really sets you up in a lot of different ways in life to know that who you are makes a difference, because a lot of times we forget who we are.
Mm-hmm.
We forget that we make a difference, and we don't realize what we contribute to this planet and to the people around us. So if you can hold that to be true and live in that nature of
Mm-hmm.
knowing who you are makes a difference on this earth, we're going to be in a better spot.
Yeah, it's
You
true.
know, and so hold it to be true, and allow that magic to just, you know, open up.
I think a
things.
lot of people try to make the mistake of trying to be someone else.
Yeah, don't
or
try.
trying to be someone that they're not.
Right. So just know who you are. Makes
Know
a
who you
difference.
are,
You don't
be
need
who
to
you are.
adapt. Yeah, I've never adapted. I've been the weirdest freaking kid of all of my friends. My wife thinks I'm an alien. She's like, I don't know who you are. I mean, she knows who I am, but she's like, you just you encompass so much, and like you've done so much in such a little bit of time. You know, in 41 years, I've done a lot of things, and that's just because I've held true to, like, I believe who I am makes a difference. I believe who I am and what I want to do, I can go after. I'm not going to let anything stop me.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to have roadblocks and things like that, but if
course.
I hold those mantras, that's how I got to where I'm at today. And I think that's still statements I hold.
The only person preventing you from getting what you want is yourself.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Because all you have to do is keep going.
Right.
You decide when it ends.
Right. And you're the one who makes the excuses.
Yes.
You're the one
Yep.
that wakes up and does what you need to do.
Yep.
You're the only one who can close your eyes at night.
Or listen to the other people's excuses. That's a big one too. I think people do.
yeah.
They're just like, oh, I was told I couldn't do this. Well, you know what? I was told I couldn't do a lot of things
Right,
in life, and
right.
here I am now.
Right.
It's crazy.
Right.
It's crazy. So like, I don't care what other people think at all.
Yeah.
And you know, it's like a video I saw. It was like, how do you make a movement? I don't know if you saw a hit online. It was like some music fest. It was just some crazy guy dancing by himself.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden,
Everyone joined them.
well, they said what was important was having a number two.
Yep.
And once the number two came into play,
Yep.
that's when the
Yep.
movement started.
Validation.
Exactly.
Yep.
So don't be upset or afraid that you are out there by yourself, is what I like to tell people,
Right.
because we all are.
That's right.
your number two's right around the corner.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
then your crazy,
Yeah.
loony ass dancing by himself is going to be in the middle of that movement that you created.
Yeah.
And that's how it works. in
That's
life.
it.
It's awesome.
My wife was my number two. She came on board.
Yeah.
And she's like, they're not crazy. You're actually onto something, even though
Yeah.
everyone thinks you're crazy.
Right,
That's
exactly.
real. You need that number
Yeah.
two will come around.
And everything's a dream. Everything is a dream, and everything is something that we do
Right.
before. That's the truth. That's where it comes down into play. It's like it starts as a dream.
Yeah.
So it starts as an idea, and then as a dream, and it goes from there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Make it reality.
that's cool.
No, that's it, man.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate you being on the show today, Andrew.
Yeah.
Can't wait to have it live and ready to go.
That's
and,
it. Dayton approved.
That's right. Dayton approved.
Yeah. Take this and put it into a soundbite. Dayton approved.
There you go. All right. Well, I appreciate you being on the show, and
Yeah,
until
bro.
next time, brother.
Till next time.
Subscribe and follow to our Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube, or your favorite podcast platform. Be sure to sign up for our email list and receive an email to watch the show. Every Wednesday at 8 a.m. Do you know a great Dayton business that you would like to see on the show? Visit our website at DaytonApproved.com and click on the Contact tab and tell us who you'd like to see.